Hi everyone, I'm Ken from CryptoTradingKS and Borsog Trader. If you're new, welcome, and welcome back KS family. Let's run the numbers. Bitcoin currently down 2.58% to 2755. Ethereum down 3.36% to 1196. From my 30 plus years in financial markets, I explain the smart money mindset to assist you to be more of a financial blessing to yourself and those you love, gaining real wealth in the process. If you would like daily updates on price movements in the crypto market, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, please subscribe to YouTube. Please consider sharing and liking this video and also subscribing to the channel. We would love to have you as a part of our globally extended KS family. Thank you for tuning in. I very much appreciate us sharing this time together. What we've just done is a quick run through of the crypto market. This will give you a feeling on how different cryptos are changing underneath the hood of the crypto engine. You can see that even if the overall market is red, there are always some pockets of green. I've left helpful links in the description of this video, such as the Masterclass, the tax software I use, and you can always reach out and directly message me on Twitter at any time. I'd like to let you know I just recently brought out a new video on Borsog Trader. That video is Trade 5, how I made 13% on HNT as Bitcoin was crashing. It was a really interesting trade. It took about 2.5 days to pull that out, but the key is that the whole market was actually crashing down. You'll find the link for Borsog Trader's YouTube channel in the description of this video. We know that Bitcoin and the Nasdaq and the main markets are very, very closely correlated at the present time. And this is a directional correlation, not a traditional correlation. What we can see is that when the Nasdaq came down, Bitcoin came down as well. But Nasdaq and the S&P 500, the Russell 2000, and the Dow are all intercorrelated, so they've all been coming down. What you actually see is that when we had a bit of a bounce up in the Nasdaq, we had a bounce up in Bitcoin. We had more of a rally in the Nasdaq, and we had a lesser rally in Bitcoin. Just keep these things in mind. That blue line is Bitcoin's price action. I call it Bitcoin's gravity. Now, what do we see in the Nasdaq at the moment? Prices rebounded to a tight level of resistance. And what is it actually doing? Are we above that resistance? Yes, we are. We're above that resistance at the moment. So it's broken through the resistance, trying to test it as support and trying to resume back up. But just remember, this has been a pretty much monstrous rally up. When you have monstrous rallies up, it's very common to get a retracement. So we could see a retracement below this resistance line. Why is that? Because price, when it gets too overextended, needs to come down, consolidate to actually push up with power through these things. It's all about maintaining a momentum. And we know price is always moving in a wave. As we are a trading community, we need to look at this particular price action here and see, is the Nasdaq going to hold? And this is a really important question, and you have to approach this in 3 dimensions. First, what if price goes up? What will you do? What if price goes sideways? What will you do? And if price comes down, what will you do? Because as the Nasdaq is moving currently, also Bitcoin is moving in the same directional bias. So we have to keep this in mind. It's really important to make those 3-dimensional decisions. What else do we see here? Bond prices have gone down. Bond yields have come up. Gold lost its support and has resumed down. And we can see the dollar is starting to kick up, but it's still under resistance. And we also see that oil is starting to get some positive momentum. It's starting to get above this resistance level. And we would anticipate this anyway, because there's a lot of support through this particular area. So getting a technical bounce makes a lot of sense. Does it mean that oil is on the way to challenge this previous high? Maybe, maybe not. Oil is very geopolitical at the moment. And when we look at the bond, the junk bonds, what do we see? They're actually increasing. This is a very positive move. This is like a risk on move. What about the put call ratio? We see it actually falling. What does that mean? It means people are getting more confident. And when we look at the VIX, people are getting more confident in here as well. We do have a level of support in the VIX at around 25.35. So we would imagine if the VIX falls, it may hit that and cause a bit of a spike up. The VIX is very spiky by nature. Please let me know, what are your thoughts on where the main markets are heading? And what do you think that's going to do with Bitcoin? It's really good to discuss these things in the comments section on YouTube. Bitcoin is currently trading at 20,805. What are we seeing from signals with Max Pain from the options market? It was 21,500. It's dropped down 500 to 21,000. And we can see it may be hitting that Max Pain level. What about tomorrow's Max Pain level? It's 21,000. So the options market has basically predicted for the past 4 days that would go a little bit flat and a little bit down. And that's pretty much what we've done. You might be asking, Ken, what is this white line here? That's the Nasdaq. Oh, and why did it go flat, Ken? What the heck is that about? That's weekend trading. Wow, the Nasdaq is so laid back, isn't it? It doesn't trade like Bitcoin and crypto. Crypto is 24/7. Nasdaq is just whenever it wants to be. It's kind of like an office worker. Okay, and what do we see by this directional bias? We can see the Nasdaq forcing up, and what happened to Bitcoin? And then the Nasdaq came down. What happened to Bitcoin? And it went up. What happened to Bitcoin? And it came down. You get the idea. And what do we see right now? So the Nasdaq can give us some degree of, if you like, prediction about where Bitcoin and crypto could go. Now, why did I say and crypto? Okay, if you're new to the channel, welcome, of course. And something that's really, really good to know is that Bitcoin's gravity will impact all alts to the upside or to the downside. But of course, the alts will over-exaggerate those particular movements. Some alts, for example, when Bitcoin comes down, some alts will go down way, way more than the percentage movement down in Bitcoin. And when the alts come up, because Bitcoin is moving up, they will over-exaggerate that too. That's why we love alts. But about 1% of alts move out of synchronization with Bitcoin. We love those alts. This is the weekend indicator, and you can see Saturday and Sunday, the Nasdaq just goes flat. And of course, the Nasdaq just does trading hours, so it's not a 24/7 thing. Just as the Nasdaq did a really good movement up, so too has Bitcoin and all of crypto. But it's kind of flattened out. It's trying to digest these gains, trying to form a ledge, if you like, a new upward support level. But what do we see? We can see that there's a strong resistance up at 21,231 and very, very strong support at around 19,668. So we're just very close to the upward level of resistance. Now, what is resistance about? I had a really, really good comment in the comment section on YouTube. Resistance is like, I'm not going to pay any more than that. That's right, I'm done. It's too expensive. I'm not paying any more. And what is support? It's like, wow, this is a real bargain. I want it. So buyers step in at support and sellers step in at resistance. Now let's update the KS line, the KS model line for this red line. We can see that typically when Bitcoin hits this red line, and what is that value? It's 19,184. You can see it up here, 19,183.80. We just say 19,184, and it's a real-time number. So what are we actually seeing? Each time price comes down and hits this red line, it can go through it. And we saw that quite a few times, actually. So, but it actually predicts a fairly good bottom. Now, is this the bottom? It's really too early to tell. There's a lot of geopolitical and macro events playing out at the moment. But as traders, we don't really care too much about that. We just move with the price action itself. Okay, so that line in the KS model has been updated. So 19184 is there. So we can see that that's actually below the 19668 level. And this is actually a good thing as this moves around because Bitcoin is exponential by nature. It actually forms different support levels and they'll change on a day-to-day basis. But this is okay for us because instead of all the support being at 19668, we've got a bit of a banding of support. That's even safer for crypto. Let's have a look at the longs and the shorts. The longs are coming out of the market. They're saying, whoa, I'm not too sure what this market is doing. And the shorts are pretty much doing the same thing. They're saying, whoa, I'm not too sure what this market is doing either. And they're not alone. A lot of people are not sure what the market is doing right now. So that's why we need to stack probabilities. One probability we can look at is the Crypto Fear and Greed Index, and it's currently 12, which is extreme fear. And when we look across the 12 level all the way back here, we can see that it rarely gets to a point of 12. And we've been under that point. We've gone really, really low, all the way down to 6. Ouch. What this actually represents is a flushing out of the system of any leverage, and also a lot of people leaving the market. When people come into the crypto market, they're promised basic retirement next week, and when they see price falls like this, of course they get really, really scared and they leave the dance floor. The dance floor? Ken, what are you talking about, a dance floor? I like to look at the market as like a dance floor in a nightclub. When the dance floor is really, really busy, it's because everybody sees the price going up, and as soon as the price comes down and crashes, everybody takes off. But hang on a sec, the price started coming back up. It's not retail doing it. Who's doing this? What hidden force is exerting itself into the market and pulling retail back in? Yeah, it's smart money. They love to buy at a discount. And it's really interesting because there's so many memes that float around. Like, for example, Bitcoin at 60,000, there's a big long queue for Bitcoin at 60,000. Bitcoin at 30,000, there's no one there. Okay, and we see the dance floor getting emptied again. All the best songs are on when the dance floor is empty. Have you ever been in a position where you've sold at pretty much the bottom? Please let me know in the comments. Liquidations can often give us a bit of a telltale sign on the health or otherwise of the crypto market. And we can see that there's been 141.66 million in 24-hour liquidations across nearly 60,000 positions. Across the past 24 hours, about 69% of total liquidations were long liquidations. What about the past 12 hours? About 78% long. Past 4 hours, 64% short. Past 1 hour, 80% short. So the shorts are getting hit right now. And what is it doing to price? It's pushing the price up, but you can see it's a bit of a weak movement at the moment. We've bypassed one level of resistance, but we've still got another level above us, and we need to get through this resistance at 21,231. We can see in the past 24 hours, there's been more long liquidations than short liquidations, and the same thing was yesterday. And the day before, there were a few more shorts than longs. So what you're actually seeing is more volume picking up. But when we actually look at liquidations like 141, that's really quite low. Let's look at the greatest gainers in the past 24 hours. Tezos XTZ out in front, just about 10% up. Chili's 8.3% up. Stacks nearly 8% up. Ape over 7%. IoTex up 4.12%. Tron nearly up 4%. Carver 3.7% up. And Stepan GMT about 3.5% up. What are the greatest losers over the past 24 hours? XTC down 11.22%. Uni down 6.6%. Matic down 6.4%, 1 inch 5.1% down, storage 4.8% down, quant 4.6% down, and Chainlink 4.4% down. As this is a trader's market and we are a trading community, it's really important to have a positive expectation on what you do in life. That's why we follow positive excellence and maintain real wealth foundations. This is all about putting money into its rightful position, which is as an output to doing the right things. When you're trading or investing, and we know all investors become traders anytime they buy or sell, if you have a lack of inner peace or have a lack of outer peace, you typically make bad decisions. And that's not what we're about. Having a focus on kindness and gratitude and happiness will calm things down and help you make the right decisions. And putting money last, not first, is a brilliant way to do things. Always remember that success follows good fundamentals. We've looked at Rule 225. Bitcoin cannot escape the stock market's gravity, and we can see the Nasdaq is just cradling, trying to make support stick. And we understand Rule 45. No alt can escape Bitcoin's gravity. When you're timing your entries and exits, always do your three-dimensional decision making. What will you do if price goes up? Where will you exit? Do you have your exit strategy planned out? If price goes against you, do you have a strategy for that? Will you buy more and dollar cost average down? Or will you exit the position? That's a question only you can answer. And what happens if price just goes flat, goes sideways? What will you do then? Let's have a look at the top cryptos. We can see Bitcoin coming down. This is on the 4-hour. So Bitcoin is trying to maintain or get above that monthly resistance. We know it's just a little bit below it at the moment. And when we look at Ethereum has had a lot more strength. And this is why we love the alts, because the alts are more interesting than Bitcoin. Bitcoin is pretty interesting, but the alts even more so. But on the downside, Bitcoin is really, really good because it goes down far less than the alts go down. So it's always a kind of thing. You have to make a decision on what you want to get into. We can see that Binance Coin has been doing really, really well. What about XRP? It rallied up and is congested right at the moment, just has a little bit of negative momentum in there. What about ADA, Cardano? Because the hard fork was pushed out, that lost a little bit of momentum, but it's certainly consolidating down here. But we know that as Bitcoin goes, so too does the entire crypto market. And what about Solana? Solana has been doing really well. You see how it's over-exaggerating these Bitcoin price movements, but it's still following it. A lot of people would say, Ken, are you crazy? That's not following Bitcoin's price action. I'll show you something. A little bit of magic. Do you think it's following now? For many years, I lectured first and second year statistics, and I guess that kind of mathematical mind allows me to pull out different associations between different variables, and I teach all of that inside the masterclass, not from a dry and boring level, but from a really fun level. Okay, let's have a look at Doge. Doge is doing really, really well. It's getting overextended as well. And you can see when you look at the RSI, we can see that basically the entire crypto market is quite overextended. It's pretty much due for a pullback in a probability perspective. Now, does that mean that it's going to absolutely, definitely, certainly happen? We don't have that degree of confidence where we can say one way or another that something is certainly going to happen. But as you get more and more overextended, you typically see the markets start to turn around, start to retrace. And when they do, that's a potentially phenomenal time to Borsog. Something that could help you tremendously is Rule 829, percentages, not price. How we look at the crypto market from professional eyes or through professional eyes, we look at percentage returns. So for example, Doge is a really, really low price. And of course, ADA is much more expensive and Binance Coin much more expensive. And whoa, Bitcoin, yeah, taking our pole position. But the concept is we're actually interested in the percentage gains. That's what we're after. Many people new to the crypto market just look at something expensive, for example Binance Coin, and say, oh, that's too expensive, I can't afford that. Instead they put their money into something quite cheap. They're the same thing. If something, for example, if Binance Coin goes up 10% and ADA goes up 10%, you just got 10%. If XRP went up 10%, Sol went up 10%, DOT went up 10%, Doge went up 10%, ADA, Binance Coin, Ethereum, and Bitcoin all went up 10%. You just got 10%. Doesn't matter what you pay for it. It's still the same percentage. And that's what professionals look at, and they understand percentages in a way that very, very few people do. When investing and trading, it's important to understand that disappointment, setbacks, problems, and not getting what you want is going to happen, just like it happens with life. You can follow down a green path or you can follow down a red path, and that's completely your choice. When we first start off in trading and investing, what typically happens is when we lose, we get really angry and we look for someone to blame, anyone to blame. And this creates anxiety and bitterness, anger and conflict. And also, it's incredibly disempowering to lose your power. And if we think about what is actually happening here, it's just about a person getting weakened and going through self-inflicted suffering. And this is very, very normal. And a lot of people don't realize how normal it is. Many people just get stuck in the red side of life and live very horrible lives, full of conflict, full of pain, full of anxiety and all sorts of things. But it doesn't need to be this way. You can walk a different path. You can walk a path where you see the world is actually out for your advantage. It's out to make you a success. And this is the opposite way of thinking when people are on the red side or the red path. For example, if you get a loss in the markets or in life, you can look at it as, okay, this is not what I want, of course, but look for the lesson in it. And a lot of people don't look for the lesson. That throws them down the bitterness, weakness, and suffering side, this disempowering path. You want to always empower your life. A lot of people think that also a good life is a life without problems, but the rain falls on the just and the unjust alike. It's really critical to actually look at this world from the lens that the world is a really kind of good place. And I want to actually read out a comment from yesterday's video. Art said, you asked in yesterday's video, do we default to the world being a kind place or that the world is unkind and hostile? This of course depends on your current reality and perspective. But I agree, once you've been in the markets for a long time, and this is critical, you learn that the kind world expectation is the only one that will move you forward. How is that any different from being in life? If you treat the world as being unkind and hostile to you, you'll absolutely get unkind and hostile results from the world because that's what you're looking for, that's what you want. But when you look at the world with kind eyes, that the world is out for your advantage, you will move forward in life and you will be happy. And that's really what life is all about. It's being happy. If you've just been caught up in this Celsius, Lunar, 3 AC debacles, it would be very easy to only see the red side right now. So I wanted to show you what the green side and the red side was so you could better understand Art's comment if you're just joining us. But the sooner we can correct our thinking and see kindness and opportunity, the sooner the positive trades and profit will also flow our way. This is absolutely correct, and I thank Art for his very kind sharing. As a community, we understand that it's easy to get caught in blame. It's easy to seek out an enemy or to create an enemy. And there's really no point in doing so because it's just disempowering. And everybody that's been in the market for any long period of time knows it's a pointless waste of time because if you disempower yourself, you take away your profitability. And Badger said, look for the lesson from the loss, the losson. The losson is not mine. The losson was another beloved community member who said losson. And it's such a good concept. We grow in strength in the dark times. We don't grow in strength in the good times. The good times make us spoiled and lazy and all sorts of things. The bad times strengthen us by fire. That's why we live from a position of positive excellence. We're always seeking this inner peace, this kindness, this gratitude and happiness, because to live without it makes any money that you will ever get really, really worthless and valueless. It may sound crazy to say that, but it's absolutely correct. I know of so many wealthy people, and they are unkind. They're grateful. No, they're not grateful. They don't have gratitude. Are they happy? No, they're not happy. They're always in outer conflict and inner conflict. That makes all the money that they've earned, they've amassed, absolutely worth nothing. They'd be better off going and sitting on a beach. And this is something to be very, very aware of. You can make a tremendous amount of money through trading and investing. But what kind of person are you when you make that money? For us as a community, we subscribe to real wealth foundations and positive excellence. You deserve to have a beautiful life, a happy life, a grateful life, a life full of meaning and fulfillment. You will not get that by the red side. Let's look at some more cryptos. And you're probably saying, Ken, I thought this was just about entries and exits. You will be successful if your mind allows you to be successful. And that's the same in life as well. We need to talk about the psychological aspects, or you will be unprepared for the volatility of the market. You'll take it personally. The market doesn't even know you. It doesn't know you exist. Let's have a look at Tron. Tron is doing really quite well at the moment. And SHIB just retracing with Bitcoin's retracement. AVAX retracing with Bitcoin's retracement as well. We can see that as Bitcoin is coming down, what's happening to Matic? Coming down. Uni coming down. Litecoin coming down. FTT coming down. Chainlink coming down. This is why it's so important to analyze Bitcoin's price action. If you ever wonder, what happened to my beloved alt? You just answer, Bitcoin happened. Naughty Bitcoin. Or good Bitcoin. Thank you, Brett, for your comment also. We need to treat people with kindness by seeing kindness in the world around us. Obviously, strong boundaries need to exist for those that take advantage. And people that take advantage are just simply walking the red path. That's all that's happening. And we should enforce those boundaries when breached. Of course, absolutely, Brett. A lot of people think that being kind can somehow mean that you're not strong and you don't have boundaries and that you won't fight. Absolutely you can fight if you're kind. The concept is that you pick your times to fight, and 99% of the time you just don't need to because it's not important. What's important is to have the boundary. When people cross a boundary, when they are unkind, and they've repeatedly been unkind, and you've spoken to them as well, depending on what the situation is, just slam the boundaries shut, no questions asked. That takes a lot of strength. It also takes courage and it takes honor. You must be a person of integrity. It's really important. When you say something, you mean it. And people will understand, hey, when this guy says something or when this girl said something, yeah, that they mean that. Absolutely. And you need to have that focus. It's really important. And in the crypto space, we've seen so many people with a lack of integrity bring projects down and cost people billions of dollars. That's just not fair. Let's have a look at some more top cryptos. We can see Stellar just retracing with Bitcoin's gravity, and we can see the same thing with NIA. Atom is also doing the same thing. Algo retracing. Bitcoin Cash has been very, very weak. Look at Ethereum Classic compared to Bitcoin Cash. A world of difference between the two. VET just retracing. You can see how this over and under exaggeration in price momentum is so important to actually understand. You can see, as a crypto technical analyst, we take things really seriously. We mark up our charts to understand where the strength of the market exists in an exponential fashion, either support or resistance. We then look to collect probabilities, checking world events and checking the stock markets. We look back into the crypto market to find the market's focus, understanding that opportunities reset daily and enhancing our pattern recognition. And then before we buy or sell, we must master our emotional control. It's very, very easy for people to have a lack of emotional control in the markets. After all, it's your money. And when you lose money, you're not happy at all. A lot of people think that the market is just like a job. You can actually just return a certain fixed amount every day, just like you would be paid a wage. This is not the market's focus. It doesn't exist for that purpose. That's a job. In the markets, it's kind of like a restaurant. You may have really, really good days like Friday night and Saturday night where you're doing a bumper trade, and Monday and Tuesday could be pretty sparse. So just think about it more like a restaurant rather than a full-time job. And that's really important to understand. So how do restaurants survive? They make all their money on Friday night and Saturday night. That's how they survive. Of course, some restaurants like McDonald's do well all through the week, but just keep that in mind. It's a really good thing to understand. When you have mastered emotional control, you can look for the opportunities that are resetting daily. If you're walking that red path, you will not see opportunities. Even if you can understand the patterns that are playing out inside the market, you will be scared to do any action whatsoever with that, because you'll just not have the confidence. Self-doubt and self-sabotage will have taken over, and you'll probably be looking for someone to blame. There is no empowerment in blame. Blame is the most toxic of all emotions, of all human emotions. If you ever find yourself blaming, throw it out the window. It's costing you a fortune. And thank you very much, Al, for your kind comment. We're talking about the red path and the green path because the green path allows you to make profit and to see opportunity. The red path disempowers you and makes you miserable. It makes you so miserable that you probably wouldn't want to get out of bed. So what Al says, occasionally I found it surprisingly easy to let myself take the red path after setbacks in life or setbacks in the market. Yet I can't think of even one occasion when this was the right choice. Eventually I've been blessed to return to the green path. It's not always easy, and at times it's been challenging. However, I believe it helps to have a glass half full mentality. Well done, Al. Working in forensic, I see firsthand some of the most unkind and hostile acts that can occur. However, I choose to believe in my heart that this world is primarily a kind place. This automatically improves my outlook on life. That's really important, my outlook on life. Not about just investments and trading, but your outlook on life. Investments, trading, and relationships with my family and friends. People who walk the red path have a lot of trouble when it comes to family and friends, because family and friends want to have fun. They want to be around kind people. And when people are just basically melting down, of course people understand it for a time, but if you move into the red zone completely, you'll find yourself isolated and often alone. And if that's the case, it's quite easy to get out of the red path when you understand that you're being disempowered just by a bad habit, and that's all it is. You can swap out into the green path. And I know I'm being kind of harsh on this red path, green path stuff, but as the markets do what they're doing right now, you've got to be rock solid in how you look at things. Al goes on to say, it also helps when dealing with setbacks and losses of all kinds and the associated stress, where you see the world as a kind place. As a result of seeing the world as a kind place, I have no problem taking the necessary steps to act on opportunities. How brilliant that present themselves, and shrugging it off when they turn against me. What I found through life is people generally take the red path when they personalize what happens to them. It's like somebody is out to get me. Somebody's done this to me. I need to defend myself. Nobody's done anything to anyone. What actually happens is that life has just presented a particular lesson that needs to be learned to take you to the next level of happiness. But people get stuck. When they actually are on the green path, they depersonalize it. They don't see it as a personal attack. They just see it as, oh, how can I get better from this? What is life trying to teach me? How do I go to the next level of happiness? It's a really, really beautiful thing. And each level of happiness creates a new level of meaning and a new level of fulfillment. And you thought this was all about trading. It's all about life. Viewing the world through a kinder lens, the green path, allows us to see the many blessings in our lives. The green path is by far the happier path. Thanks so much, Al. And to Oscar, thank you for your kind comment. Life seems to consist of both the red and green path. We must choose wisely again and again. The more and better we walk the green path, the less life forces us on to the red. Very good, Oscar. Walking the green path is really important when it comes to your trading, and I created the Borsog Trader channel to help people to understand that even as Bitcoin is melting down, you can make money in the crypto market. It's all about having hope and understanding how crypto actually moves. And I'll be adding so many more trades to this. And if you have a green path attitude, you will see these opportunities. If you have a red path attitude, you won't see these opportunities. You'll only see risk. Rule 570, psychology sets profitability. It's incredibly important to have a positive psychology when you actually approach the market. If you have a negative psychology, it will just phase you out and you'll get consistently phased into the wrong side of the market. When the market is doing what it's doing, you'll be out of phase with it. That's why Borsog is a very, very powerful learning concept, so that you can actually enter the market with coffee money and you can scale it up as you see fit. But the concept is you start to get into the flow of the market, and that's what it's all about. But having that green path mentality is absolutely critical before you. It's really natural to enter the red path when we're just learning our way through. And if people are in the red path, it's completely normal. It's nothing to be concerned about. What you want to do, because the red path of anger and blame and bitterness and conflict and disempower, resentment, jealousy, hatred, weakening and suffering, wow, that sounds like a smorgasbord of pain. You don't want to be there. You want to be on the other side with gratitude, strength, happiness, kindness, looking at the world as a kind place. So I would love to hear from you. What techniques have helped you move from red into green? I think that's a wonderful, wonderful thing to share. I hope you found the content useful. Please consider sharing and liking this video and also subscribing to the channel. We would love to have you as a part of our globally extended KS family. Thank you very much to our moderators for keeping our community safe from scammers, and to the CTKS ambassadors for assisting Masterclass students. And of course, a very big thank you to you for watching and for being part of our global KS family. If you would like daily updates on price movements in the crypto market, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, please subscribe to YouTube. I've left helpful links in the description of this video, such as the tax software I use, and many parts of the world are coming up to tax time, so please use that software. If you're using Excel, you'll find that you're missing out on a lot of deductions. There are also links to the CryptoTradingKS Masterclass. Please seek out an ambassador to get 80% off by using the links in that description, and you can always reach out to me and directly message me as well. Please remember, crypto is volatile. Always prepare yourself for the best and worst case scenarios. Reality will likely be between them. Stay safe out there, my friends. Take care and see you next time. Bye for now.